Good morning everybody, welcome back to cilinixfxcapital. I hope you're all doing great and welcome to your daily update here on Bitcoin, the day of the Federal Reserve interest rate decision, which I will be live streaming by the way, so if you're interested in that, we're just going to cover the result live, we'll talk about the markets, and we will talk to our beloved friend Jerome Powell, and we'll talk about what it means, what he says, and what it means for the markets, etc. But that's later today. Right now, we're going to talk about Bitcoin. And Bitcoin had a little bit of a bearish shift yesterday, as you can see, with relatively high volume as well. I mean, the volume we saw was the highest we've seen since Sunday. So it's also not major. I mean, it's not like we had like this volume is so high that we need to be worried. And we also knew that this was a possibility, right? I mean, yesterday morning, I said, okay, we're at a major support level right now, but we can still drop down into that level between 112.5 and 112,000. Yesterday in my middle of the day market update, I thought it was a little bit more likely we would be able to hold 114,000. The price action was actually pretty good. But then over the course of the evening, we started pulling back a little bit lower. And I think we also saw the volatility index rise up a little bit then, as you can see right here. And gold too, right? So a little bit more unrest got into the markets. You saw the Russell 2000 also pull back, which is risky equities, which is correlated to Bitcoin. So we started pulling back, but ultimately, this is not, it's not the end of the world. I mean, like I said yesterday morning, this was still fine. And I still think if we structurally look at Bitcoin right here, like we could have had better price action, but we hit a significant resistance with the previous month point of control right here at 116,000. It's not strange that we're pulling back, and ultimately we're still holding strong support. I mean, we're holding a 382 fib, and we still have the value area low in the 618 right here at 110.7. I would say if we drop down all the way to that level, it would be slightly bearish, but we also still have major support at 111.7. So, ultimately, structurally, I still do think that Bitcoin is heading for that level at 117.5 and 119,000, which is what I've said for the last couple of days, right? So that hasn't changed. I think short term though, heading into the FOMC and in general, a little bit more bearish pressure in equity markets and a little bit more unrest, it seems, for whatever reason. I mean, obviously, we got hundreds of headlines a day right now, so it's quite hard to attribute what's causing this. Although there might be some of you that say, no, it's definitely this. Could be, but I just look at the data, right? And the data is telling me that I think it's a little bit more likely that at least until the Federal Reserve interest rate decision tonight will remain relatively stable. And I would also go as far as saying is that I think it's a little bit more likely that we'll grab that liquidity at 111.7 down to 111,000, where we also still have a minor fair value gap and we still have a weak low back from Sunday. So I think it's a little bit more likely, but then I do expect support, and then ultimately I also think we'll be able to reclaim 114,000. Now, whether that's today, whether that's tomorrow or Friday, that is difficult to say. But ultimately, that is still my expectation regarding Bitcoin. And perhaps it's also good to know that the Bitcoin dominance, at least over the course of the last 24 hours, has gone up a little bit. So that means that most altcoins, at least at this point of time, are slightly underperforming Bitcoin. So that's good to know, but those are the critical levels. Alternatively, by the way, I mean, if we just are able to reclaim 114,000, I was wrong, because I think it's quite likely we'll still get some sort of a flush down today, minor flush down, but ultimately that's the best case scenario, right? And I would much rather be wrong and that happens than that we get that flush, although that's fine. So 114,000 is ultimately the level we need to reclaim to get that next leg up, I'd say. But I'll keep you updated on that. I think that's what you need to know for today. So thank you for watching. I'll see you on my next videos, and bye.